Penguin Random House Audio presents The Plant-Based Baby and Toddler, Your Complete Feeding Guide for 6 months to 3 years by Whitney English, MS, RDN, and Alexandra Caspero, MA, RDN. Read for you by Sarah Skaer. This audiobook includes a bonus PDF with recipes, charts, and reference handouts. To Vander, Caleb, Emery, and Ella, getting to be your moms is the greatest honor of our lives. We love you so much. Introduction. Hi friends, we're Alex and Whitney, registered dietitian nutritionists, mamas to predominantly plant-based babes, and the creators of Plant-Based Juniors, PBJs, an online community for parents interested in raising healthy, conscientious children. We've been predominantly plant-based for a while now. More on that soon. Alex dabbled with vegetarianism throughout high school and fully stopped eating meat in college after a breakup with a protein-obsessed meathead. Whitney's journey began during her graduate nutrition program, when after taking a class in Italy on diet and disease taught by world-renowned longevity expert Dr. Walter Longo, she ditched her chicken breast-based diet and never looked back. When we each learned we were going to become parents, our initial reaction was utter joy, but this bliss was quickly followed by that not-so-pleasant feeling all parents-to-be can relate to. Uncertainty. There are just so many things to consider. And as parents, we are compelled to do everything in our power to ensure that our children are set up for a lifetime of success. From choosing the safest car seat to the best pediatrician, we spend countless hours researching, talking to friends, and seeking expert opinions on every detail of our child's care. There are decisions to make and countless opportunities to get it wrong. Nutrition is one area that can be both confusing and emotionally charged. Although the scientific consensus is clear that appropriately planned plant-based diets are safe and likely beneficial for both adults and children, we still frequently hear criticisms and concerns from skeptical parents and medical practitioners. For decades, the medical community has insisted that the only way to raise a healthy child is on the standard American diet, rooted in meat and dairy. We're told milk does a body good, and that growing tots should be drinking 3 glasses a day. We're advised by pediatricians that meat is an essential first food, and that without it, our babes won't get enough protein or iron. Meanwhile, media outlets using fear-mongering headlines warn that plant-based diets are dangerous for children. Naturally, these messages would lead any conscientious parent to question raising their baby plant-based. Even as dietitians, with master's degrees in nutrition and years of hands-on experience, we both felt natural anxiety in response. The overwhelmingly pro-animal product agenda in our society instills fear in plant-based parents, especially when coupled with a lack of accessible, evidence-based, and expert-delivered resources informing parents of how to properly implement a plant-based diet. But, in the face of fear, we decided to look for facts. We scoured the medical literature and consulted experts across the globe in plant-based, prenatal, and pediatric nutrition. And we ultimately came to the decision we knew in our hearts to be true. Plant-based diets are safe and nutritionally adequate. Relieved and rejuvenated, we wanted to share what we'd learned with other parents to remove the stigma around plant-based diets for infants and toddlers and help you simply and confidently feed your child a diet that is scientifically proven to achieve optimal health. The current state of children's health. It's pretty absurd that in the face of rising obesity rates and chronic diseases in children, many use a standard American diet, SAD diet, as a benchmark for what proper nutrition should look like. 1 in 3 children in the U.S. is overweight, and 1 in 6 is considered obese, with the most recent studies showing that obesity affects 13.9% of preschool-age children. Globally, obesity in our youngest demographic, preschoolers younger than 5 years of age, has also skyrocketed, increasing by about 60% since 1990. Many attribute this increase to a shift in developing countries away from primarily plant-based diets to diets heavy in meat and processed foods. We've also witnessed an increase in lifestyle diseases in children, such as heart disease and diabetes, that were previously thought to affect only adults. Unlike type 1 diabetes, an autoimmune disease typically diagnosed in early childhood, type 2 diabetes usually occurs in adulthood and is linked to factors such as poor diet and a lack of exercise. However, type 2 diabetes in children has been rising rapidly. From 2001 to 2008, it increased by over 30%, and children as young as 10 years old are now commonly afflicted. Experts estimate that if this trend continues, we'll see a 2 to 4-fold rise in cases by 2050. Something is seriously wrong with the way we're feeding our kids. Research on plant-based diets for children. The American Academy of Pediatrics, the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, and the Canadian Pediatric Society all agree that well-planned vegan and vegetarian diets are safe and healthy for breastfeeding moms, infants, toddlers, and throughout all stages of life. If you were already eating plant-based prior to becoming a parent, we're guessing you're well aware of the health benefits for adults: a reduced risk of chronic diseases like diabetes, heart disease, and some cancers, and a potentially greater lifespan. And while we could certainly use more research, the studies we do have suggest that many benefits of a plant-based diet extend to children. One of the biggest benefits is a reduced risk of obesity. Studies show that vegan and vegetarian children typically weigh less than omnivorous children, while still attaining normal height. One study of 404 mainly vegan children showed that the majority fell between the 25th and 75th percentiles for weight and height on U.S. growth charts, and were only slightly below the median of the reference population. Studies also show that plant-based children have lower levels of inflammatory signaling molecules linked to obesity and insulin resistance, and higher levels of anti-inflammatory messengers compared to omnivorous children. Another benefit is that plant-based children typically eat more fruits, vegetables, fiber, and important micronutrients like vitamin C and folate, while eating fewer unhealthy items like sweets, salty snacks, and saturated fat-rich foods. As we will discuss in chapters 4 through 6, taste preferences are shaped early in life, so helping kids learn to love fruits and vegetables at an early age sets them up for a lifetime of positive eating habits. Plant-based children are also exposed to fewer environmental contaminants. This is because toxins bioaccumulate in animal tissue and build up the higher you get up the food chain. For example, one study found that the breast milk of vegetarian moms had just 1% to 2% the amount of pollutants compared to
Sample complete. Ready to continue?